Game number 1, next best of 5, winner bracket semi-final. The Captain's Clash continues, and we get Team Kure against YEAAAAABOI. The round robin phase is over, so are the best of 3s. So now we got a best of 5, and we start things off on Dragonshire. And obviously, all of these teams have already matched up at least once in the round robin, which means that Team Kure and Team YEAAAAABOI have a bit of a record. And interestingly enough, last time they met, they went through the final map. And it was a pretty close one too, so not sure who's going to take it here. I mean, generally speaking, when you look at the seeding and when you also follow your intuition a bit, most people would look over towards Team Q and be like, yeah, probably they have the advantage here. But there are some pretty solid players also on the side of Team YEAAAAABOI, of course. Caterpillar gets his Johanna band out right away, so she's already out. Dino, Banana Age. I mean, this is a pretty stacked lineup that they're running here too. So, not sure who's going to take it this time. But it should be a pretty hard-fought best of 5 that we have here now. Quick reminder that we don't have any specific draft rules for the tournament. There are no pre-bans, there are no bounties as we had in others that we hosted. This is all played on the North American server. So for the European players that are now participating here, they have a bit of a ping disadvantage compared to North Americans. We've seen the same thing, of course, also happen on the European server previously, where players like Kure and Madara played. So, just as a bit of a side note for everyone here. And we have a losers bracket in this tournament, bracket 2. So, 6 teams in total, currently still in the winner bracket semi-final, and whoever loses the series will then drop down into the lower bracket and still has a chance to reach the grand final, which is, by the way, going to be a best of 7. So, all of the games here are going to be best of 5s with the exception of the grand final. Grand final is played out as a best of 7 with a winner bracket advantage. So the team that makes it into the grand final through the winners bracket gets a 1-0 lead in the best of 7 series. Chaotic locks in Maiev right away in the draft, so Kure can't get that. And now we have Nuburak and Sylvanas on the other side as a response. They love Dragonshire, by the way. Kure, every time that I cast his team, they go for Dragonshire once in the series if the map is not banned out. Dehaka for the top lane. So already some globals for Team YEAAAAABOI. And yeah, I'm a bit intrigued. I really want to see how this match ends this time. We had some crazy games between these two in the round robin phase. And I want to know if Kure's team is able to win this again, or if this time the red team just says like, yeah, we got your number now, and you're not gonna have a chance here. Varian gets banned, so they're a little bit afraid of quick rotations between the lanes, and then just an endless lockdown with the tether from Maiev, with Dehaka and his tongue, and also the taunt that we're gonna get from Varian himself, of course. So, final ban. Probably going to target Kure here. I mean, the Tracer ban already told you what you needed to know here. He played Tracer multiple times and did exceptionally well with her. So they're just banning out Tracer first, not even hesitating. And Thrall gets banned as well. Now, that still leaves a lot of very mobile assassins for Kure. His Zeratul is obviously well known. He could go for Genji. If they wanted to do something like Genji and Anduin, they could also go for a Light Bomb Engage if they want to stack another stun on top of a Nuburak making his play here. So there's still plenty around for him to claim. The one hero that I maybe thought would be played a bit more in the tournament than has so far is, by the way, Cassia. Cassia has received small damage buffs. Again, all of the changes that we're currently getting in the game outside of like bug fixes, nothing crazy. It's not like a massive rebalancing. But some number tweaks every now and then could make heroes appear in the meta again, or make them a higher priority than before. We have seen, I believe, 1 or 2 Cassia games now, but I thought she would be played a bit more than that by some of the teams here. Now, just something to note as we're heading into more and more best of 5s now. We get Garrosh for the tank, for Caterpillar, and there's Zagara on Dragonshire again for Dino. He played that the last time these two met, and it didn't go all that well for him. It's not like he got wrecked completely, but yeah, all in all, Zagara didn't quite have the impact that he was hoping for. Still got decent damage out, but they lost it eventually against the late game Dragonites, and now Q has to decide what he's going to pick in order to apply pressure to Zagara and the rest of the team for the first map of the best of 5. Now, Captain's Clash again, we're finally in the playoffs, and our last pick is Junkrat. Okay, didn't quite expect Junkrat here. Junkrat Sylvanas, as we're going straight for map number 1 for Dragonshire. First game of the best of 5, we got Team Kure in blue on the left side of Dragonshire as we're starting up the next semi-final here in the winner bracket. We get Kure on Urel, we have Brandon on Anubura going for Legion of Beetles as his level 1 talent, Fuzz himself on Sylvanas, Valamar on Brightwing, and Bloodcool is playing Junkrat. As over on the right side of the map, we have YEAAAAABOI on Dehaka, Caterpillar on Garrosh. I really want to see how Caterpillar performs here. The last time he seemed to have a bit of an off day, so how much of an impact can he have today here? Quite a few couple of former HGC players in the mix now, with Dino also on Zagara, Banana H on Lucio, and Chaotic is playing Maiev. It would have actually been really interesting to see if someone like Dino would have been part of HGC, if it would have lasted a little bit longer. There were certainly quite a few talents that after HGC went down kind of took over the scene a little bit, but that's also in the context of a lot of the pro players, of course, dropping out, so it would have been interesting to see if some of them would have been successfully able to push into the league. But yeah, a lot of familiar names here as we're heading into our first game. We have Zagara already trying to get some vision with the extra creep spread that is being thrown out there and the creep tumors, and it's just a cleanup job. Later on, Nubarak likely going to go in the burning as well, just to make sure that he can clean that up a bit sooner. If you lose track of Zagara's creep spread at some point, you will be in trouble. I mean, that vision effect and the legal map hack that she can technically create is something that you should never underestimate. So Dino is going to try and use that to his advantage, and there's always going to be a few heroes on the other side. They're going to try and keep tabs on him as best as they can and shut that down. But rotations are already slowly happening here, and Cattle becomes the target. No additional stun. Instead, they might even go for Dino, but not making that switch immediately. So, Banana H just zipping around with Lucio getting some shots in, and down at the bottom of the map, that solo Zagara play, as with the 1 minute mark passing, the camps have spawned and the teams are getting a bit more interested in trying to take siege giants, and of course also the bruiser camps towards the top right. Chaotic, little bit low here, but again, the man made it, so yeah, good. Yeah, we don't really see it all that much anymore, but there were times when people just like died to camps occasionally. It was really fun when people just underestimated how much they would do. It would be cool if they would give camps a couple of like extra moves, extra abilities, where you every like 3 you have like an extra heavy hit or something, just to make them a little bit harder. Would probably take away from the actual intent of all of that, but in my head it would be funny if we had the occasional player that just underestimated. You know, like when you see a boss, for example, make a stun move, and then every now and then you see a player that just completely misses it and gets like stunned and then entangled and just dies. Like, it's kind of entertaining. So, fights all over the map right now, and it seems that Dino might actually be the first one to die here. Yeah, still trying to get away. And that is the hit. Killed by Brightwing of all heroes. Oh my god. Adding insult to injury as well. Not only do you die first, but you also get eliminated by a fruit fly. I mean, should have brought a fly swatter there. So, all those insects today unite. Brandon, careful. Oh, there's a carapace and should be able to get out. Well, maybe not. There comes Dehaka, and okay, fair enough. With Dehaka entering the battle, that then was just the end. It really seemed like Anubura could get out, but he gets wrecked. Blue team is now under control of both of the shrines and can technically try and get themselves a Dragonite. Don't think that the opponent is going to allow that. But there is still pressure here, so they have to keep heroes in the middle. There's no attempt currently to retake one of the shrines. I mean, maybe a little bit down here with Maiev, but with Brightwing dropping a poly, it just ends with a kill. Maiev goes down, Chaotic gets murdered, and yeah, that was pretty perfect and applies even more pressure. So they are trying to get that Dragonite. I don't think they can claim it, but they can definitely use it as a bit of a tool to force people in the middle to defend and try and get another follow-up kill. Zagara wants to take over, can't just yet. Banana H, again, making most of the work here. And eventually Zagara is going to take over at the bottom of the map. But Caterpillar is low. Caterpillar is low. Fuzz! And that's a kill for kill. They get the trade going, and now Zagara at the bottom of the map has also been dropped. So, very nicely done by the blue team. They're getting a lot of kill trades here. They're applying additional pressure. They again have double control. And while all of that plays out, they also push for those structures and slowly begin to take the lanes down. One tower after another falls. They're starting to get a couple of gates too. So, they're playing a very solid macro game here. Despite the fact that the only real global, again we don't count Brightwing here, is on the other side of the map. It's YEAAAAABOI. So he's the only one that can really control one of these side lanes and jump in to have a big impact. But it is the blue team that slowly starts to pull ahead here. So nicely done. And still a big question mark, what happens when the level 10 abilities kick in. Dino with the Zagara play, didn't do too much here yet, but now it's actually them who apply some pressure. Blue team still can go for the stun here. Not yet, careful. That's Kure in the middle. I mean, Kure relegated to a side lane player. That's, of course, not really all that uncommon. He plays a pretty mean YEAAAAABOI as well and has been doing so in a lot of the European tournaments for the teams that he's subbed in for. Still the control at the bot lane that they're now holding on to. It starts to stabilize a little bit. Or does it? Because here in the middle it seems like Chaotic is going to fall again. And with Fast jumping in on Sylvanas, they seal the deal on Maiev for now, I believe, the second time. So 5 kills to 2, level 10 abilities are ready, and with that they're pushing straight for another structure. Take the towers, take the gates, rotate potentially down to the bottom of the map too. Dino's still defending, but they're already pinned down. They have level 10 as well, so now finally a chance to possibly fight back in this game. But at least early on, it is a very successful start for Team Kure. They are the ones that won the best of 3 series in the round robin phase between these two teams. And it was at times really close, but again, they emerged victoriously. And who knows? Maybe they just got exactly all the answers from that series in the round robin phase that they needed in order to dominate even further here. But for now, it's just all poking out for Vision down at the bottom. We have 14,000 damage from Sylvanas. Zagara still trying to get a few more mercenary camps and get those siege giants down onto the bot lane. Lucio, funnily enough, with the harass that he has been executing, is the top damage dealer for the red team. 12,000 for him. I mean, he's actually not only the top damage dealer on the red team, he is the second highest damage dealer in the game right now. And then he gets caught like this and gets just crushed. Lucio is gone, got slapped around and died. And they are pushing through the top now. They still have double control. I had a moment ago and threatened to go for another Dragonite, but with the YEAAAAABOI falling, it means that we have now 7 kills to 2, and of course the gap in experience is also widening, with level 13 talents now slowly emerging for Team Kure. They are looking great here. They're really looking great right now. More outer walls are being destroyed. As expected, Nuburak, I mean, again, going up against Zagara, went for the Burning Beetles here. General Beetle build for him anyways. So, it's a sensible follow-up tunnel for them. And as they are going for Dragonite number 1, Q actually interrupted. I think he had it. But he gets it. So, interrupts it for a moment, still gets it here. They're going for another kill. Banana is dead. Try to tap the fountain here. Mind control in play, of course, 2 through this. And that is Lucio gone. 8 kills now, and boy, oh boy. Yeah, that is disastrous. Entire early game is going to the blue team. They're now looking at aggression with the Dragonite at the top. They're pushing here in the middle with the rest of the team. Well, with the exception of Junkrat, and they're getting more kills, don't they? Yes. Sylvanas goes in deep, gets the kill against Cattle. The Maw didn't do enough. Here comes the Riptire, and he gets destroyed at least. Fuzz is still hoping to get himself out of that. He was also dropping another mind control. Interestingly enough, they never really focused on that fort to take it down, but the Dragonite has now taken the one at the top. So, good job by Kure, making sure that he gets the most out of this. And they got a lot. The YEAAAAABOI gets an ass kicking as soon as he arrives on the scene. But this is big for the blue team. They are off to a great start in the series. I mean, this is a best of 5. and you want to try and start things off with a bit of a bang. We've seen so many teams that in the first game have seriously struggled, especially in the round robin phase, and then once that we continued with map number 2 and maybe map number 3, we started to slowly find their rhythm and got back in the series. But then you always play from behind, and it makes things tough. If you can really just put your stamp on things early on, then that's of course fantastic. And since they won in the round robin phase, they came in as the favorites, but that round robin match was close. Here though, it's level 16 that they now hold. Now they have not won this game by any means. They took 2 forts out, that's the extent of it, and they have a level 16 advantage in a second. So these are all big leads that they have, but they also have to make sure that they are using that properly to take keeps out and win the game itself. And so far that obviously just hasn't happened. So they're still trying to invade a bit further. There's a mercenary camp at the bottom of the map that was now taken. Not sure if they're going to fully engage here. Disc is out. Nubarak with Cocoon, okay. And they're going to be fine on the side of Kure. But yep, with the Riptire coming around, get some damage in. Everybody's clustered up here. The Haka is still pushing the top, so Urel has to respond to it. And Kure is already on the way. But everybody else is still just dealing with not really too much. I mean, honestly, when we look at it, I thought maybe with level 16 the blue team is going to be more aggressive than they currently are. That's not really the case. Bot lane Ford has taken some damage, but they at no point aggressively pushed for that. So they wait for the shrines to pop up, and now with the Dragonite being active again, they also have the camp that pushes topside and slowly starts to do his thing here. Down at the bottom, Sylvanas is holding tight right now. And yeah, on the damage numbers, let's have a quick look here before they're fighting for the shrines again. We have now 16,000 for Zagara, so she's taking over the top numbers for her team. And on the other side with 23,000, it's not like Sylvanas, is like massively ahead. We are starting to see a few less fights now. We had a couple in the middle in particular, but they are starting to slow down slightly because the blue team is rotating around, leveraging Sylvanas with as much structure damage as they can do. And still holding on to the hope of grabbing another Dragonite with this one as well. But that's all. That's all of the fountains gone, all of the forts gone on the outer side. So it's a pretty big development here. Isolation. Kure dodged it. Isolation being used, Kure dodging it completely. But that Tong against Junkrat, that was big. That was a huge play here from Fancy Pants. So well done. And maybe even a kill against Kure. Nope, Bright Ring comes in time too. They still were able to throw another disc out. And the tether as a follow-up. Ult from Urel. And Nubarak jumps out. And there it is. The next lick and kill. So Fancy Pants is actually trying to go full backpack on us now. He's carrying. Those calves are developed. They are sexy and they are toned. He went back home for just a second. Got himself a backpack. And now he's carrying the team through the team fights. That was a massive, massive win by him. Getting 2 in a row allowed them to get a kill against Junkrat, against Urel, and now the Dragonite is finally claimed by the red team. So it looks a bit like what we've seen in the round robin phase. The blue team initially taking a big lead, and then all of a sudden the red team comes back. I honestly didn't think that it would play out the same way again. And it might not. But this is at least giving the team around Fancy Pants a chance to get slowly back into this. Now, it's going to take a little bit more than that. They still haven't taken a fort down. This is going to be the first here. But this is the type of plays that you have to execute in order to get there. And this is what they're currently working on. So, first fort destroyed. Able to at least do that. And still the Dragonite trying out for the NFL apparently. He wants to be a kicker from the looks of it. Massive battle axe there as well. Who's that actually? Garrosh. Garrosh has a big axe already. At least he knows how to wield it. You know, and yeah, you gotta fall back there. There is also the Haka factor as this all continues. I mean, with the Haka, there is of course always then the chance that in the late game you're the one to control these lanes. For now, they need somebody that defends. They need somebody that doesn't really lose track of things, but yeah. There's a lot of creep too. That's nice vision. I talked earlier about losing potentially control of the creep spread on the map. I'm not saying that we're there yet, but that is very, very good vision that we're seeing here for that team. So yeah, they got a lot of vision around this. They have a lot of knowledge of how the opponent is moving, where they're moving, that they're not getting flanked even when they are not on the map. Just like knowing that you're safe is already worth a lot. But there's level 20. That's the one level lead that the blue team still maintains. And with level 20, they now have the Dark Lady's Call. Paz has been using that extremely well, but now he can YOLO that out with essentially no cooldown. And the red team immediately upon seeing that level 20 is an inevitable advantage for the opponents falling back. I mean, they don't want to fight against this. He just fell back immediately and said, okay, not on our watch. We'll wait until we have our own Storm Talons. Thank you very much. Yep. And in the meantime, we have our little battle with the Haka at the top, who's likely going to fall now. That's the first stun attempt. Get the second one out, and he's dead. Kure comes in and just pancakes him. Gets a jump through with YEAAAAABOI and hooves first. Pancakes the hell out of the Haka. He had absolutely no chance there. Gets totally crushed. Well done. Poor guy. Yeah, so the Haka down, so you end up with but first you have a talent disadvantage, and then the second you pick up your level 20 talent, you have a numbers disadvantage. Now, that's a free Dragonite. Little that they can do about it. So, yeah, here comes the first play for Keep. Junker is moving back from the top lane. YEAAAAABOI is still pushing top. 33,000 damage now from Sylvanas. And then on the other side, we have 27,000 from Zagara. Not a big damage game. We still got kills, though. We essentially have a kill a minute, roughly. Brightwing, the only hero in the entire game that has not died yet. The only one here. So, with the DK, I mean, the DK gets already poked down by those Hydras. And they haven't even gotten the wall yet. They're only using the ability to just breathe on the wall. How bad does your breath have to be in order to do this much damage just by breathing? Oh, Lucio. Yeah, well, Sylvanas and her Dark Lady's Call. That's that. I recommend for the Dragonite a little bit of Listerine. Honestly, Mouthwash is going to do wonders there. They get another kill, don't they? Caterpillar goes down, and boy, what looked like just a wall and not more is now the destruction of their key. Yep, 5 versus 3. And they're not stopping there. They're hoping to get more. They're coming in for the core, trying to take that out and win game number 1 with this little play. There's 2 heroes that are down for at least 30 seconds, so this might well work out for them. The shield is already gone. They're pushing for victory in game number 1. Team Kure, they're pulling it off. Well done. The first map goes to them as they are taking... Well, are they taking down? 10%? And yes, they are. GG. Blue team with the victory on Dragonshire. Nicely done.
Before we head into game number 2, make sure that you subscribe to the channel if you haven't done it yet so you don't miss out on any future content here on Khaldor TV.
Kure's team is in the lead, 1-0 for the blue team after the victory on Dragonshire. It's a little bit reminiscent of the best of 3 match that they played in the round robin phase. But I gotta say, it seemed a bit more decisive in a lot of situations from the blue team. And they... I mean, really, they came in with a bit of an agenda. They came out swinging in game number 1. Let's see if in House of Doom they can do the same. This is actually the map I think that they lost in the round robin phase. So they ban out the Vikings immediately, which I absolutely love. Already dealing with all of that a bit. Trying to get rid of some of these X-Factor picks. Tower is obviously a map where the late game is pretty much everything. And too many teams in this tournament have... kind of realized it this tournament around the hard way because they just got murdered. Dominated the early game, great in the mid game, and then in the late game lost control, lost some team fights. Opponent took multiple bell towers, started a barrage, and the game got turned around. It's actually kind of funny how many games, how many maps we had in this tournament where it was just comeback after comeback after comeback. It's kind of the story, I feel, of a lot of the matches that we got so far. Now, ban also against Diablo. I'm targeting Caterpillar a little bit on the other side. I think the blue team is going to be pretty confident with what they just pulled off on the first map too. But again, there's a best of 5 series, so there's a lot more time now to make up for mistakes that you made. Tracer gets banned. They do the same thing that they did on the previous map. Hure's Tracer has been a problem for a lot of the teams here, so they get rid of her as quickly as they can. Johanna, her being picked now in the first pick position also means that Caterpillar is delegated to some of the support, or sorry, some of the tanks that usually doesn't play on that much. Wrong way of phrasing it. I mean, again, this is a former HGC player that we were talking about. Of course, he plays a lot more tanks than that, but there are certain priority picks that he goes for when there's a chance to do that. And currently, he can, of course, still rely on a lot of the others, but he's been playing a lot of Jojo. Diablo can be really strong for him, so yeah, some of the preference picks that he clearly has are now taken away from him. Malfurion and Dehaka. So once again, we get Dehaka here. They're still relying on global control and side lane control with that. Blaze and Maiev, very strong front line. Triple front line for them now. And funnily enough, also just picking some of the picks away from Team YEAAAAABOI. I mean, for example, Maiev was played on the previous map by the red team. So they can swap that over to Kure. They don't have to leave Maiev on Fuzz's side. Depending on what the range damage is going to be, we might see a swap where Kure starts to lock in Maiev, for example. So the final 4 bans, we have Stukov banned out if you tether somebody in a lurking arm, and then you have also stuns from Blaze, Condemn from Johanna, Blessed Shield. Stukov can ruin your day. Absolutely ruin your day here. So let's see what else they're going to go for with their support. I mean, Brightwing, for example, is still up, and you can always rely on Brightwing if you want to. You could play this also with some other combos, but there's plenty of good picks still up. Vala gets banned, so no risks taken around her playing a massive hyper carry game here. With Malfurion as a heal, you could technically still have gone for, I don't know, like Uther main tank, Vala together with that, but that has now been shut down too. And still the question what, for example, Dino is going to play here, even though I think they're going to pick for Caterpillar first. Muradin for him, and we get Hanzo. It's okay. Muradin and Hanzo, plus Dehaka, a lot of CC, the roots from Malfurion, as the old geezer lays down the lawn. And now the pick for Kure. And of course, what support they're going to take. So Towers of Doom could be the map where they're taking a 2-0 lead and pull further ahead, or it's actually just a comeback. There's Brightwing, as already theorized, and for Kure we get Li Ming. Okay, so we might actually see him be the one play Maiev, but yeah, Li Ming is gonna get teed everything up for her, and if she gets the resets, she can just hop through the opponent's team with calamities and take him down. Dino is the final pick now, the final player to pick for Team YEAAAAABOI. After a little spanking they just got on Dragonshire, they probably would love to make up for that. So the final choice, what's it going to be? They go for Abathur. Okay, the slug is in the house.
Hail to the king, baby.
I like it. Abathur is in the mix. Ladies and gentlemen, Towers of Doom, map number 2. A pretty interesting choice for the red team as they lock in Abathur. I'm not so sure how this is going to work out for them. I love Abathur, but is this the draft for it? Well, we'll see. On the left, we have Kure and his team in the lead with a 1-0. Kure is indeed playing Li Ming. Etherborg on level 1. We have Fuzz on Maiev, Valamar on Brightwing, Bloodcool on Blaze, and Brandon is playing Johanna. On the right side of the map, the team trying to tie this up with YEAAAAABOI on Dehaka. We have Chaotic on Hanzo, Dino playing Abathur, Caterpillar on Muradin. He's probably going to be the recipient of the symbiote quite a lot throughout all of this. And then Banana H on Malfurion. So, what are you cloning here? Are we just going to see like some Hanzo clone? Normally when you are cloning you're looking for, I mean, Greymane, Genji, anything like it, but not so much here. And also, what is the symbiote going to be for? Probably the best target, or one of the best targets, would be Muradin. I mean, you can do a lot with Muradin when he has Symbiote, honestly. If you get Skullcracker on level 7, you just whack away, you get a little bit more attack speed, you get those mini stuns in. Muradin can really do a lot and makes himself very tough to kill even more, but it's not starting off well for them, does it now? Well, we are still theorizing what they can do with Abathur here and how great of a pick this is, or how bad of a pick. We get the first blood against Malfurion with a tether from Fuzz, and then the follow-up with damage. And Abathur is helping out, but of course you have the problem that in the early stages of the game you don't have that extra hit point pool. That's just the problem. You don't have hit point pool 5 during all of these fights that gives you additional sustain, and Abathur can help out, true, but it makes the early game oftentimes a bit tricky. In this case, the pumpkins get stolen away. Very aggressive stance from the blue team, for very good reason, of course, as well. But Blaze is not here, so this attack is costing Brightwing her life. And they're hoping to get a bit more damage, but yeah, Kure is also jumping quickly out there, ensuring that nobody is going to be able to target him immediately. So, with Blaze at the top, dealing also with Abathur, by the way. The party continues on the left side, as now the red team is stealing a camp. Essentially, they just traded them. They just traded the camps here. It's like, do you want ours this time? Alright, we're gonna take yours. So, yeah, there we go. Big thunderstorm outside. Yep. It's actually kind of funny because I have like one window that leads outside, and I haven't I've closed the window, but I haven't completely closed the blinds, and I can now the entire time just like see the lightning cracking outside, or at least the light coming in. So yeah, hopefully that doesn't eventually lead. Sometimes it doesn't really happen a whole lot, but every single time when there's a thunderstorm coming over the area directly, it's always a question of whether or not it's going to result in the electricity getting like dropping for a moment, but I hope that's not the case. What is dropping though is Hanzo. What a transition! Oh my god! Round of applause for the caster. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Just came to me. Just came to me. It was glorious. So yeah, Hanzo, he drops, and the electricity doesn't. The slug is active on the map. I love that. Dino on the slug, by the way. So, yeah, he's going to slug it out with the altar topside, and that allows them to grab the first few shots, whereas Blaze is going to face off against the Haka now. A couple of toxic nests also on the map, and down at the bottom we have Kure with a channel, and he has none of that. He's like, I'm not going to get stormbolted here. Yeah, some nice, nice ability throughout there too. That could have been kills. That was clutch, but okay, so they're gonna get 2 out of the 3, as they should against an Abathur team this early on. And here comes Muradin with Symbiote, as expected. Maiev is getting away, but the blue team is now realizing that they can't just be aggressive all game long, that the red team is also willing to come in swinging, trying to take them out here. So they're doing a lot of damage too, as they are getting Abathur to support Muradin mostly, more so than anything else. By now we have on level 7 the Bonds of Corruption, we got Calamity for Li Ming, and at the top still Blaze. I mean, Blood Cooler is essentially mostly played throughout the top lane in all of this. So Brandon also coming in. They have the wave clear with Johanna, obviously, so the stun later with the Blessed Shield, wave clear right now, and also the blind that they can use against some of those order attacks. Yeah, but it's still, I mean, it's extremely even the game currently. So the red team does well, making sure that they're not losing any ground while they're waiting for Abathur to get access to his level 10. We have Mule now, Needle Spine as talent, Skullcracker again was a given, considering the composition that they're currently playing. And then Brandon in the middle, doing the same thing as usual, just like working the AoE down. And they're not really falling for any of these traps. I mean, the red team is trying to go for some nice little sneaky moves as they're hiding in bushes, waiting to someone move onto the lane, and then try to flank in against them. But hasn't really done anything just yet. With only 3 kills, it's also not the most kill-heaviest game or anything. But quest is completed for Hanzo now. Good for him. Tether attempt. Oh, and Hanzo makes it out, but that looked close for a moment. Yeah, if Kure is able to weave another attack in, then that would have been the end of Chaotic. So, neat little move Fast now on the channel. And he's going to get that. No, he's actually getting interrupted by Hanzo. That wasn't range. Yeah, good for him. But they're zoned out even further. And they gotta give this one up. YEAAAAABOI trying to at least make it happen too for his team. But with the blue team rotating in immediately, it might not be the case. I gotta say though, the red team is a little bit ahead in experience. Not by much, but if you're already in a team fight and then midway through level 10 abilities drop, then that's a different story. So YEAAAAABOI is now gonna try again, now that they have heroics. And the blue team just doesn't have it yet. Blue team can try to buy themselves a little bit more time. They don't need a whole lot, but they need something. There's the arrow, triple stun, bye-bye Brandon. Brandon is out. YEAAAAABOI got interrupted once more, but the 10s, they just come too late. The heroics are there, but it was not in time. So each team gets one altar, 4 more shots fired, and as it happens with a 5 versus 4 advantage, we're getting moved towards the pumpkin camp by the red team as Caterpillar steals that away. Heroic abilities, we actually get adaptation. Adaptation for YEAAAAABOI. And also, we have Twilight Dream for Malfurion. So, talking heroic abilities, definitely a few that are slightly unexpected here. That I at least did not think they would go for. So, this could get interesting here. Let's see if this is gonna work out for them or not. But, yeah. Changing up the status quo a bit. As now, Maev tries to jump out again. YEAAAAABOI. Okay, Caterpillar hits the Stormbolt. Blaze is guiding additional camps at the top. Dino even coming in for a bit of a slap. Playing an active avatar here. But YEAAAAABOI has actually claimed the camp. So with Blaze taking it. Okay. That didn't help anything. Mirrodin is dead. And now they go for Malfurion. Mirrodin is down. Malfurion? No way! The Malfurion copy made it. Yep. Double Malfurion now. I thought they took it down, honestly. But yeah, the first one to fall was actually Mirrodin. So Mirrodin's gone. We still have a double channel now. The red team is ahead in experience, though. Red team has claimed the experience lead here. And nobody has done any significant damage to a bell tower yet either. So over here, we still have shots exchanged. The disc thrown through, but that didn't anything. And now instead, Fast has to jump out. Blaze is still pushing the top. Probably a little bit annoyed that his pumpkins got stolen earlier. But Cattle misses the Stormbolt. If he hits that, and then the YEAAAAABOI comes in, he might just be able to chain their CC and get another kill. So, yeah, not quite. But with level 13 talents now also ready for Team YEAAAAABOI. We have the same happening from the blue team. They're dead even. Dead even. The YEAAAAABOI, on the other hand, is... Oh, the arrow! And it turns the fight! The YEAAAAABOI is alive, and the fight gets turned with one arrow and the double kill. They try for Blood Cool. Barely miss out on another kill. But that's our 4 kills to 3. Very nicely done. I mean, if they honestly, if they can get a little bit more damage in against the YEAAAAABOI there, he's just dead. But now they got all that sustained with the YEAAAAABOI and his level 10 choice with Mirrodin. So they are starting to gain ground. They are a level ahead now. It's 3 kills to 4. And they're currently doing it. Mirrodin. Yeah, Kure's paying attention here. He already was... He was immediately ready for that teleport. He was just like, yeah, I am not gonna get hit by any of that. You're not gonna catch me that easily. But the altars are now spawning. It's a single altar at the bottom of the map. Even talents, but there is that experience lead. 1 level advantage, nearly. So if you win now another team fight as the red team, and you claim not only the altar, but extend the gap further, and it will be tough to catch up with this. So, some big plays made earlier. But right now, at the bottom, yeah, this is the team fight where you have to go for. And Blaze is actually not there. They have level 15 already. Blaze isn't there. There's the YEAAAAABOI copy this time. So, they're trying to go and get a couple of those tongues out. Blaze says hello. And you've doubled YEAAAAABOI Plus, of course, then Muradin. Channel happens, team claims it, Arrow is on its way to Miami. It's gonna hit Florida in a bit, so guys, be careful, take shelter. Half a level until 16, but yeah, that is another altar. That is still a lead, even though nobody died. And I don't really think that the blue team thought they would find themselves in that situation. So I am intrigued to see how they're going to deal with this now. But Fuzz, riding on the money. He's right on the money there. Riding the dollar bills. But he's missing the disc. They want Chaotic. They were trying to take him down multiple times now, but they just can't get there. With 16, we now got Adrenaline Boost 2. So you have a bit more movement speed as you're starting to chase people. Turning Dehaka even more into a race car. So, yeah, he's faster than anything here. But Brandon, yeah, threw out the Blessed Shield and is not making it. That's the end of it. Oh, the kill and the reset. Nice. Kill and reset. There's the double kill. Holy cow. The plays again from both of them here. Kure getting that reset was huge, and now they were hoping to get more, but look at those plays. First a Jodo that goes down, and then Fuzz comes in together with Kure. They're getting a kill, then the jet propulsion, and it spells out the end of Hanzo. Triple altar phase now coming up, and well, still a few boys missing. They should be back in time to defend here properly, but maybe an initial lead for Team Kure, who now have gone even in experience again. So yeah, even on XP, top side, Dehaka still doing his thing, and the double Dehaka attempt. Yep, there's an interrupt though, so then having none of that. Dino going for the double Dehaka and trying to use that with the global. It's a sneaky little idea. I actually like it. I mean, it means that the thingy, the copy does nothing. Malfurion dies, which makes things worse. But it was a pretty cool idea to just go and say like, hey, I'm going to just channel, I'm going to global over, and I'm going to steal it before they can do anything here. Now it's 16 to 20 points on the core, and given the situation that they're in, they are taking the boss too, so it's going to be another 4 points removed. But yeah, despite the fact that it didn't work, I like the thought process from Dino here. 36,000 damage from Hanzo, 40,000 from Li Ming. Kure is looking strong here. Yeah, and they're now taking the camp at the top, of course, as well. Taking it as a solo player, like you saw attempted from Blaze earlier, is always tricky when you have Abatha against you. It's too easy for them to turn any 1v1 into an Abatha-supported disaster for the other team. But yeah, pumpkins. What? They got all of them. Nice! That's pretty awesome. Now, the situation as is, we're headed towards 20 slowly, and we're still very even on essentially all accounts, including kills here, as you can see. Oh, did they go for Muradin? Okay, careful. Dehaka copy is up, by the way. Oh, bye bye, bye bye Hanzo. Yeah, he died quickly, and now they go for Muradin, and he doesn't make it either. Muradin doesn't stand a chance. He goes down. They follow that up with a Malfurion kill. Banana Age. He gets murdered. It's a single altar that's spawning. They're trying to repair with the mule also the bell tower down here at the bottom. But it's just tough now. That's a lot of momentum lost. The level behind. 20 talents are going to hit harder for the blue team now. Oh, sorry, they're going to hit earlier. Maybe even harder too. But they're going to go for bell tower control down here. Brightwing is going to delay the channel slightly so that they get the 5 shots. Toxic Nests delaying him by a second, but the outcome is going to be the same. 5 more shots removed, single digits for the core of the red team and level 20 talents. So yeah, that hurts. Now, they should get that back. The question is simply how much more can the blue team now do? Can they, for example, grab another bell tower? Are they willing to siege up somewhere? Or they just decide, you know what, we're going to stay down here, protect this one, have players rotate, and just ensure that we're not going to lose control of the game. Which is also an absolute legit way to now try and end this game. And it would be a 2-0 lead in the best of 5, of course. So, currently, Team YEAAAAABOI. They need to break through that bot lane. Also protects that bell tower that could potentially spawn at the bottom of the map. I mean, the next one spawns middle. Pumpkins, if they can escort those in, that would be even better. But with Malfurion and the root, that's not happening. So Hive Mind is in, Bullseye, Twilight Dream gets upgraded, and Adaptation as well. Change is survival. Don't get to see that a whole lot. So it's all about the sustain and survivability here. Camp is taken, Blessed Shield, and that's the end of Hanzo. I mean, the squishies are always becoming the target here, not only for Maiev, but of course also for Li Ming, who wants her resets. And once that Hanzo is gone, you can easily target the rest of the team. Malfurion becomes another prime target. Comes in with the Twilight Dream, the Astral Communion, but it's just not enough. They are not able to break through this right now. It worked well in the mid game, but the red team is really struggling here. Copy of Abathar is already gone, so they are just sitting down here, trying to go for the ult that is spawning in a few seconds. With Hanzo down for another 30, that's also a problem. Tons of sustain, of course, with the talents that we are getting from Dehaka. But they are pushing for Banana Age immediately. Calamity and Kure gets the kill, gets the reset, moves out. They're teeing up against the rest of them, and it's just, they are all on the run. They're just trying to limit the damage, to stop the bleeding a bit. Hope that not more heroes die, no more staggered deaths, and Jojo has already started to go for the channel. Not able to pull it through though. Oh, the channel. Yeah, okay. Murden goes down, Dehaka survives. But that is going to be another set of shots fired, and they're going to be down to 2 points on their core. 2 points on the core, all that they have here. Murden down for 50 seconds. Boss is up in 30. They could easily go for a boss play, and it actually seems like they're going to do exactly that. They're all roaming towards the top, and this, if they go for it, should be an easy play for them. Again, Murden is down for longer than the boss takes to respawn. Copy is also not available for Abathar. Those are all things that you have to consider here, but yeah, there's a lot of tools that are just unavailable if they make a move for the boss, and this will end the game, obviously. So it seems like that's exactly what we're going to get. This play that, I mean, they need to YOLO it. They have no chance here. They are on their way, but I don't think it's really looking too promising for them. And the blue team, yeah, they might deal with the Dehaka here. Arrows out, get soaked up by Jojo. Nicely done, and that is game. They get the shots. That's game, and that's a 2-0 lead for Team Kure in this best of 5 series here at the semifinal of the winner bracket at the Captain's Clash. GG. Match point number 1 for the blue team. Team Kure with a 2-0 lead in the best of 5. And, well, Team YEAAAAABOI decided that it's a good idea to give up first pick and choose Volskaya Foundry instead. Not a map that you see a lot these days. Most of the tournament pools don't even include it because, except for Ultralisk, it seems that most players don't really like it all that much. So, it seems like the red team has a strategy prepared. Something they want to try here, maybe. The other games haven't worked for them all that well. We talked a bit about the pick of Abathar in the first place on map number 2. Now, they played it very differently. The Haka, for example, going into adaptation, they were really hoping to get that big front line there too that you just can't kill. But they just went around them time and time again, dropped Hanzo, and then the damage was all of a sudden gone. So Chaotic had huge problems staying alive here. Now that we are heading into Volskaya, it seems that Team Kure has just decided that from here on out they're going to ban the Vikings to be on the safe side, to be like, alright, whatever happens, we're going to get rid of the Vikings and nothing can at least surprise us. But Tracer, is she going to get banned again? I mean, she has to, right? If you ban Tracer 2 games in a row, ooh, they go for a Zeratul ban instead, sacrificing one of their bans for him. Okay, does that mean that Tracer is going to be left open? Because I think that Kure would absolutely like to play Tracer again here. I mean, there's always a chance that, you know, pick it away, but let's see. They have been targeting Kure with some bans already, but most of the time it was just Tracer they got rid of. So Jojo gets banned, okay. Taking one of Cattle's favorites away from him. And now a bit of a... Ah, okay. They banned Tracer as well. They didn't just change their MO and say, like, you know what, from here on out, we're actually going to ban Zeratul and we leave Tracer open. They decided that it's time to ban both of them, not only one. So the respect bans are ready. Still leaves us with first pick. Blue team can choose the direction they want to go with it. And they go for Uther. Ooh, okay. Yeah, Uther first picks are always a bit scary in the sense that it could be most of the time it's honestly that they are saying like, hey, we're going to go for double support and Uther is doubling as our tank. And if that's your game plan, then you are interested in Vala, and that's exactly why they're currently taking Vala away from them. But you are usually aware of that too. So you wouldn't do that if you are not thinking, hey, we can do something about it. So Vala gets taken. Uther has been signaled. I've been talking on Battlefield of Eternity matches sometimes that he could technically go into Zul'jin, and well, there he is. Zul'jin gets taken instead of Vala. Vala was taken away from them. They have now their double support. Uther is the main tank for them as well. And Zul'jin is the one stacking and trying to get all of the damage out here. We've seen similar dynamics between teams in the draft play out during Battlefield of Eternity matches, where a team wanted to go into a double support Vala, didn't get that because Vala was taken away from them, and then decided they would move things over towards Zul'jin and just play him instead and try and get that auto attack stacking going. So now that we're here, the red team has to decide how they want to play this with Vala now. You are most likely going to play an auto attack style. You don't have to. Still different. I mean, all the builds work for her, but you can still draft very differently and add yourself a second damage dealer. No stitches. Okay. With Zul'jin, they have the panic buttons now. Divine Shield, you have Tasdingo. But are we getting two supports now for Team YEAAAAABOI? Are they moving away from an auto attack style? Or what is their idea of how this should be played out now? If Vala was solely a reactionary pick to take it away from them, then they have to draft around her now. They get Fawcett, they get Garrosh, it's going to be a solo support. Two auto attackers essentially, and a solo support for them. Garrosh and Leoric. I think Team Kure is pretty happy with what is currently happening here. Yeah, I think they're absolutely okay with this. Now, they still need a side laner. And then some extra damage, I guess. But it's all hanging on Zul'jin. Illidan! Oh my god! Blaze Illidan. Uther Blaze Illidan at the front line and then Zul'jin in the back. Me likey. Yeah, I like that a lot. Vala has now essentially two options. Either an arrow build, which you can definitely play here. You obviously don't go necessarily into Monster Hunter, but you can still play an arrow build and get really good damage out. But you can also, these days, play multi-shot. So both of this is absolutely alright. Okay, ladies, game number 3. Let's go. Volskaya Foundry, our third map in the best of 5. Game 3. Match point number 1, and we certainly have a draft on our hands. So Fuzz is playing Zul'jin for the blue team. We have Kure on Illidan, and Vala, damn, is still going Creed of the Hunter. Despite the fact that they don't have a double support, we're going to get the auto attack from Dino. Alright. I mean, you can still do it. It's you will probably die a little bit more often, but if you work those auto attacks in and get good stacks there, it's still fine. So Brandon is playing Uther. He's the main tank for the team and also second support, obviously. Valaman, Malfurion, and Bloodcool on Blaze. As the red team is running YEAAAAABOI on Leoric. We have Banana H on Brightwing, Dino and Vala, as mentioned. Caterpillar is playing Garrosh, and Chaotic on Falstad. So very auto attack heavy here. And all eyes, or at least mine, on Zul'jin. They played a bit of a different build than I was actually used to in most of the games where we've seen Zul'jin lately. So I would expect that something similar is likely going to happen here, even though the last time Zul'jin was chosen was on Battlefield of Eternity. That's always a little bit different because you have to balance the need and the idea of getting damage out against players, and also with the idea of trying to take the Immortal on. Kept talking about taking things on. Caterpillar! Yeah, he very quickly needed some help here. And got heavily attacked. That could have been first blood too. but they were able to avoid it. So now down at the bottom of the map, still some extra damage done with Leo together with Falstad. So they're actually pushing with 2 against Illidan. And Illidan on level 1 went straight into Immolation. So is getting some Immolation, or will be getting some Immolation damage out, and can also use that as a tool to take the minion waves out a little bit faster. Suljin, of course, with the stacking. I mean, they're already going for the healing beacon here. So they're able to grab that. Healing beacon is taken. Slows down their own turret camp just slightly. But they will pick that up in a moment. Gives you a big advantage, obviously, on the first team fight, because you have the extra sustain that you otherwise wouldn't have. But if they really want to take the camp here, they might have to send some more heroes in to try and help out with all of it. But Volskaya, we'll see. The map, again, not really played a whole lot anymore. The problem with the objective is just simply that it's not always all that useful. It depends a lot on your own team composition, on the one of your opponent. So if you really play with the Protector or not, that always is the big question mark here. Yeah, Suljin is fine. And, as I said, he goes down, and they also had to sacrifice the healing beacon. And Brandon dies too. Okay, not looking all that great here. 2 kills to 0. That worked nicely for the red team. So Suljin, I mean, the best way to stop anyone from stacking someone like Suljin is to just kill him. If you're dead, you can't stack. That's just an old truth in Heroes of the Storm. And so them shutting Suljin down here is already slowing any possible stacking that he had planned. Now, the first few control points are going to open up, and that means that we are having possibly a little brawl going on, where Suljin and Vala can both start with some additional progress. But the red team, Team YEAAAAABOI, is doing pretty okay here. Be careful with Falstad, and he's not the only one. Seems like Leoric is going to die. Leo is not looking like he is going to survive this. Poor Leo. He even waited. Gave it a moment before he worked in the auto attack. And now they're pushing, while one team was thinking about going for the objective. They're just pushing immediately on this and are starting to take that wall down a bit. So, fast with the damage, but Leo is just ghosting around there. Now, he's obviously quickly back to business. Not really a massive problem for him, given the circumstances, but, well, Uther dies again. They're actually losing Uther for the second time in only a couple of minutes, and now the chance to go for the objective, maybe even a bit more than that, because at the top they're starting to aim for Kure here. Yeah, he's already retreating, so he's going to be fine, but an attack is coming through the middle of the map, and that's the end of Vala, meaning that finally we have the first death of Vala, and therefore 5% of the attack speed that she gets through the Gambit quest has been removed. Build on Suljin continuing as expected. Vicious Assault after Bone Slicer. So the exact same build that they played before. I touched upon this a bit earlier. Vala, by the way, with good stacks. I said this initially. When you have only one support, you expect her to die a bit more. I mean, again, if you can prevent it from happening, it's awesome. But normally you would expect that she is dying a little bit more than that. And as long as she works those auto attacks in and gets decent stacks on her level 1, so she at least gets extra damage, that's usually fine. We still have items coming together for the two teams here. 7 stacks on Suljin. Not really all that great. At a minimum, you want to get to those 15 quickly so that you have the extra range increase. That always helps. And, well, by that time, we now have over on the right side. Next little move made for camp. It's all about like trying to establish a little bit of a presence here. Falstad, if he's on cool... Yeah, okay, he does his cooldown, is barreling away. Had to dodge the root here. But outside of that, nothing that could have really become a problem for him. It's still interesting that nobody has gone for the objective, and this is one of the problems with the map in the first place. We now have level 10 abilities that gives us a hunt, but nobody has really tried too heavily to go for objective number 1 and get that protector. So, yeah, finally, no, not even here. They just don't care. Protector on this map is just pretty bad. There's so many games where you even see the team that wins the Protector just straight up lose because they're having 2 people in the Protector, can't solely focus throughout the fights. and yeah, lose the game because of that. Nice to do, by the way. Might not have quite accomplished what they were trying to do here, but at least he zoned out 2 of the players and made sure that they couldn't go through with this. Up at the top, Chaotic. Yeah, still against Kure. Kure can, of course, always hunt in. That's a real danger now if you are looking at Falstad. If they are left to the 1v1, the second that Falstad goes a little bit too low, there's going to be a hunt up and they're going to go for him. But that rotation, oh, nearly led to Kure dying. Nice. Then again, it also leaves the rest of the team a bit exposed down at the bottom of the map, and that means we get a Leo kill. A hunt is being used. They really wanted him here. So they go down, hunt on Leo, and drop him. Big repositioning for Illidan, who is now finding himself at the bottom of the map instead. Keep in mind, he went for Immolation as his level 1 choice, so that helps him with a lot of these waves that he's trying to clear here. Half a level of an advantage now for the blue team too. And up at the top, we got a Bloodcool soloing it up again. They had to swap lanes a little bit on this. But still, nobody cares about the objective. I mean, nobody goes for it. Everyone's like, yeah, whatever. The only points that we have are some, you know, that were like locked in bit at the side, but nobody really commits. They're gonna get it eventually, but nobody has really made a stand and say like, hey, we're going to fight for this. It's 82% now against a few more that are slowly coming in, but you can already see that they're just moving back from it, that they're not even trying to hold it for too long. It's more important to get some items together, more important to try and get another healing beacon if you can sneak that in. Illidan loves to get into the late stage of the game, of course, too, so he's quite happy that this is slowed down a bit. Comes in with a hunt, some body blocks, and if not for that gust, Caterpillar would have died. Would have, could have, should have on the other hand. So Caterpillar is fine. Kure also didn't get dropped after they started to focus on him further. But they get the beacon, and that's another one. They have 2 already, 2 healing beacons, and they drop them both in the team fight. Both of the healing beacons are out, and it still doesn't save Uther. Uther is still gone, and Illidan will have to retreat here. Goes for Falstad for just a second, so yep, they got the item advantage, but it just doesn't matter. They dropped basically all of the items there, and they could not get a kill. Instead, it is the team that only has a single support that turned it around and dropped Uther. Yeah, a bit of bad news here. Now, Zul'jin is sitting at 12. He wants 15 for the range increase, as I said before. He's not going into an all-out stacking build here. It's also, this is a bit like having a map without an objective right now. Just having a straight up vanilla map without an objective at all. So, yeah, top left. Now getting another camp taken. To be fair, by the way, to the red team, they also sacrificed all of their items in that last fight, and nobody was holding back. Everybody just dropped all the items that they had. Talking about dropping things that entomb, yeah. Dropped by Leo, but not trapping anything. Still not really going for the objective here. Maybe now they're making more of a stance on it. They're actually starting to... Nah. They still hope to go for Vala here. Who has on damage currently 20,000. Bit more than Zul'jin, not by too much. But with only 1 death on both of them. Let me find there. Illidan could really become a massive problem in the late game, though. I mean, that's the one thing that I worry about a little bit when I talk about Team YEAAAAABOI, because Illidan late game is always great, and he has a double support behind it. There's not been too much problems just now, and him in a late game situation, level 16, level 20, he could make a big difference. Everybody has been focusing on Zul'jin so much with what they want to control, who they want to shut down, and he's getting Falstad. Illidan just got Falstad solo at the bottom of the map, and again, he now has Fiery Brand, and things will get worse. We got No Mercy too, so late game Illidan is an absolute monster. And I can totally see that with a Divine Shield, for example, to come in for Illidan, he could wreck so many heroes on the other side as this continues. Now, yeah, there's the net out. Indomitable is being used. The root, and that's the end of Garrosh. Yep, Indomitable cooldown a little bit too long in order to deal with all of these CCs. And very nice chaining from Kure's team. That was well done. First one gets broken through by Garrosh, and then Malfurion just waits a moment, drops it with the perfect timing, locks him down, and then they have no chance of actually saving him here. So the bottom wall is opened up, and maybe even go and do some structural damage on that fort. But well, Sultan is nearly at 15 stacks now. He's definitely getting closer. Power's already out. It's 30% of the hit points gone. And once that Sultan gets his range increase, it's gonna make things easier for him as well. Are they finally going for the objective? Nah! Don't need that. Hunt, on the other hand, yep, we can go for Vala. Dino tries with the Rain of Vengeance, doesn't work. Brightwing attempts to deal with all of this, but there's the Jet Propulsion, that's the end of Vala, and that's the end of Brightwing. Gonna be blunt, I think Illidan is going to cause huge problems for them. How many tools do they actually have against Illidan? Think about it for a second. They got Garrosh and they got Brightwing. That's it. That's all that they can do against Illidan. Anything else is just them trying to rush away. So now there's another kill. Falstad goes down. 15 stacks for Suljin. He has his range increase. They're gonna get the fort here, and the kills are just starting to explode. 1.5 level lead. The fort in the middle gets dropped. And with Illidan plus Suljin, this is going to be a real tough game. Kure is Kure is happy. He made it to the early game, no real problems. It's not like he got killed a lot or anything. Now he's in this position where he can just wait for level 20 even. They got a level 16. Can jump into these fights with the rest of the team. Just hunt in, do some work. Suljin is providing a lot of damage from the back. He has 2 supports that are helping him out. So whoever gets targeted, being it Suljin or Illidan, is going to have a lot of help here. And he's roaming the map. Has a pseudo-global that he uses whenever he wants to. Can go for some solo camps here easily. Can push these waves out. Can go for structures. Can go all rich on us. Who with MVP Black has of course shown the world how strong Illidan can be when you just leave him alone. Any structure that he goes up against will be dropped within a short period of time. So you don't even have to go just team fight, team fight, team fight. You can even go for a bit of a macro play to all of this. Suljin with 30,000 damage is now the top damage dealer in the game. Illidan, of course, not really big on the numbers. 18,000 is horrible if you compare it to what Vala and Falstad have. But it's also not going to win them any prizes here. Yeah, there's the first play, and immediately ults out. So all that Suljin did is get his level 13 activated, and on the other side we had ults that were used. Now, Falstad's Gust is not too crazy. Illidan now in the Protector, and they're actually getting 2 in. So one of the supports, and with 2 forts already destroyed, I guess it's the bot lane that they're starting to attack. Trying to open that wall up a little bit. Vala, we've been talking about stacks, she's sitting at 85, so it's also not too crazy. Suljin with the Armani Resilience. He was always a great dresser. And now nowhere to hide from Illidan as a follow-up on Hunt on level 10. So, trying to break through that wall, take those towers down. 9 kills to 4. And of course, the chance to now do a little bit more here even. If they take that keep down, for example, and then Illidan comes out and starts chasing them. Brightwing is a bit low, for example. The keep is destroyed. So everything, I mean, all the right choices made. Perfect play for them. This is looking great. 9 kills to 4, 1 level ahead with level 20. And at this point, there's even a camp pushing for the top side fort to start do some damage there. And Illidan is still sitting easily down at the bottom of the map. I mean, again, he has nowhere to hide now. He can move towards the top whenever. And if not, then he's just going to go for core. Falstad is going to be there. Illidan can go for the core if he wants to. Or can just go for Falstad. Whatever play he wants to make here. He can apply enormous amount of pressure. Falstad will be torn between helping out at the top and dealing with Illidan down at the bottom of the map. But we'll see how much the birdie can do without hiding right next to the keep or some towers. So Illidan is now pushing the catapults in. Kure YOLOs towards the top and immediately focuses on the fort. They're not even going for the attack. The red team is already retreating. So what they're doing instead is just take the fort down, make sure that they're getting more structures destroyed, and just pin the red team down further in their base, which is exactly what's happening here. We have level 20 though, so that means Farflight Quiver, and we also got Buried Alive. Oh, the tactical pause from Dino. there's our 3-2-3 moment as Dino pauses the game. Let's hope that it's not a big problem and it can be solved quickly, but the timing is a little bit unfortunate. YEAAAAABOI is coming back into the fight. I'm not so sure if Dino himself has an issue here or just dropped. Probably not, but yeah, whatever it is, let's hope that it's fixed quickly and then we'll see how this fight is going to end, because if they lose some heroes now, there might be another keep that gets destroyed in a second. Well, and as it seems, they fixed it very quickly and they even got a kill with it. Yeah, perfect tactical pause, coordinated, and now they get another one. So, redemption has not been a thing. Instead, they went for Bulwark. Uther, therefore, is not going to come back. Is the red team going to start a comeback here? Suljin is on the move. He's at 20 stacks, by the way. These auto attacks, they don't hurt that much. As the Armani Resilience, he's going to die eventually, of course, but this is going to at least give him a couple of stacks, but he's not going to make it. So yeah, he's at 22. That's 3 kills in total for the red team. And this flipped things quickly. Now, Falstad should start retreating because, well, I guess he's still going to be fine. We are only 16 minutes into the game. With level 20 is on the list at the top. I really thought, alright, it's going to be like massive catapults, you know, hitting the core or something, but that's not really the case. We are way early in the game than I thought we would be. So, Suljin soon going to be back. First Illidan. Vala right now with 112 stacks. Suljin with 22. Very stacked, poor game. Again, we didn't have too many team fights. There's not too much of what's going on in that regard. The kills that we saw were mostly isolated plays, but also, yeah, I mean, again, Illidan prepared a lot of them with the hunt. We had a lot of ganks coming in, little flanks here. Now that it's a 5 versus 5 again, the blue team will try and push the advantage that we're holding earlier. They still have a lead in structures, but it's level 20 versus 20 now, so a lot of the initial advantages are now negated. Yeah, Suljin gets a double swing here. 54,000 damage for him. Illidan with 22,000. But again, the man is doing work. Illidan is doing work here. Uther is dying a lot though. I'm a bit surprised that he didn't go for redemption, to be absolutely blunt, because at least then he comes back. He already was targeted a lot, died a couple of times, so why not go for redemption and make your own life a little bit easier with this? Yeah. Bot lane, that's where Illidan is slowly starting to again push for potentially the core. And as I said, if at any point there is a team fight where Illidan is not part of it and he finds himself close enough to the core, he has a choice of just going for the core and try and take that out. Illidan can absolutely do that. Falstad is the one that he has to be slightly careful about, because Falstad will try and push that bot lane out, but it also means that the birdie is in the lane with Illidan, and look how safe Chaotic plays this. He knows that if he goes too far out, Illidan is going to kill him. So yeah, and Illidan instead jumps to the top. They're trying to force a fight here, and they just can't. Falstad was actually about to fly and didn't even do that because he realized that his team was able to get out. So yeah, this is kind of the idea that they have here. Force Falstad to deal with Illidan, then hunt top, go for a quick fight before Falstad can react to it, and use that 5 versus 4 advantage initially. So there's the Gust into the corner again. Kure should be fine. Malfurion, you gotta put him in a circle. So Malfurion with Tranquility, and there's the Entomb against 2, but it's not going to be strong enough. Malf is already moving back out, and they're pushing up against that top again. Still have the chance, though, to now fall back and try and take the next Protector. And that's exactly where we find them right now. Kure is already on the point, and the red team has decided that they are, at least for the time being, going to give that one up. Defending the lanes first. Specifically Falstad at the bottom of the map, of course. Now, if they get the Protector, they might get another keep. So the red team is starting to move up. Yeah, and Illidan is getting them additional items. He already has the hunt cooldown back up and could use it. 63% now. Blaze still sitting at the top. Money pick. Oh yeah. And Illidan, is he gonna hunt? Yep, hunting for Falstad. And they're trying to grab him. Immediately moves away from the Rain of Vengeance. There's the wind tunnel once more. So one quick hit after another with that every time. Falstad terrified of these Illidan attacks when they're coming. And the follow-up, of course, that comes with it. Blood Pool is still fine here. Now the damage against Leo! And he's gone. Leoric is dead, and the red team knows that they're in trouble on this objective. This is one that they might have to let go. For most of the game, the objective didn't really matter too much. But now they're starting to really care. Dino pausing once again. Yeah, Leo is down. Not sure if they're having some actual troubles here, but with Dino pausing the game, that means that they will definitely have a chance to discuss some of the things here. Not quite sure what the problem is at this point, but them losing Leo has probably had nothing to do with it. Damage, we have siege damage with 186,000 for Blaze, and Sultan is actually starting to take a pretty big lead in this. Vala is at 50,000, but he's 15,000 damage ahead already. That's pretty big. That's a massive gap between the two of them. And that comes with Fuzz not even having all that many stacks on his baseline. I mean, he's not even done with the full quest reward, so he's sitting at 25 stacks now. But him going just for No Mercy here, for the Vicious Assault, and also Bone Slicer, you give, of course, some things up. This endless stacking that you can do with Arcanite Access, it's just not happening. You're also giving up on the fast stacking, but you are getting lots of damage out if you are isolating a target there, which they've now been trying to do multiple times, and they have the CC, of course, also to prove that. But yeah, so this is still match point, and if Team Kure wins this one, then they take it with a 3-0. So once that they fix whatever issue is plaguing them, let's see what Team YEAAAAABOI is going to do about this. Well, so apparently they were suffering from some audio problems. I'm not sure if that means that they had issues in voice, or that just one of the players did all of a sudden not get any audio feedback in queues anymore. But they solved the problem. Everything's fine, at least for now. And with 10 kills to 7, we now have the Protector at the top. So, Protector time. And, oh, they're going straight for game. They're not even trying to just say like, alright, let's get another keep and slowly win the game, pull ahead a little bit more. No, no, no. They are going straight for the core here. We're 21 minutes in. Protectors, as they're scaling, are starting to hit a lot harder, of course. So, can they pull it off here? There's always one... Oh, what? Illidan is already going for the core? Yeah, and gets killed? That looked a little bit strange. Ah, he got hit by the fist. So, I'm not so sure what the idea was there. I mean, okay, let me take a little bit of a guess, because that looked like just a Sudoku move. But what I think he was actually trying to do here is make sure that the red team has to retreat towards the core, so that they can start the fight there and don't have to battle them towards the core. I think that's the idea of what he was trying to do here. I mean, take another look at this. So he hunts over, and I think he just wants to go to the core so that they have to go there too. Then he gets polyed, and as he jumps in, he gets hit by the fist. And that's just the end of him. So, yeah, in hindsight, that kind of hurt. Honestly, if he makes it over the core towards the other side, then it's a pretty interesting move. Because once that happens, the red team has to deal with him. They are on the core, and what they were trying to do the entire time was fight against the Protector already here and then damage it while they're retreating slowly to the core, and he tried to just like jump past them with this. So the thought behind it was pretty okay. The execution was a bit unfortunate because he got hit from the core ability, and then that's that. So yeah. Made it also look a little bit bad, honestly. It didn't really look all that good for him. Vala is now at 191 stacks. And she only died twice. 10% of the attack speed bonus are gone. It's, by the way, a little bit funny. I mean, this entire core thing just reset things. So now they're looking at team fights again, and the next objective is spawning at the bottom of the map. But it's kind of entertaining that this one move and the resulting death of Kure just reset the entire game back to, okay, we need to go for a proper team fight here. And of course trying to get some more stacks in. But yeah, Kure for a moment looked like a bronzy. Just because the RNG was against him. The idea was cool. I like the thought. I'm not sure if he could play it out properly, but yeah, he got poled immediately, and then the fist hit hard. Now, Illidan again, all the way up the front there. And as we're now on level 24, it's, I think, fair to say that the next Protector is gonna hit even more like a truck. It's gonna, I mean, that thing is gonna hit hard. It's essentially picking up any trucks that it can find and hammers people with them. So now in the middle, the pressure is still more coming from the blue team, but of course there's Leoric with his Entomb that you have to be careful about, that he doesn't connect one quickly. So Fancy Pants is definitely a threat to them. And he's already looking for targets here. Need to make sure that Dino is already close by. But Dino with buff like Quiver, tempered by Discipline, Manticore, and good stacks on his level 1 is also getting more and more dangerous as this continues. So they both have an enormous amount of respect for each other, as you can see here. Everybody is just waiting for a mistake to be made by the opponent now that the next objective has also spawned. So we will talk about the control point at the bottom of the map. Yeah. Suljin with a few more hits. Oh, and every time Manticore hits, you can really see how Dino is chunking people down. So, slowly the entire thing will move down to the bottom of the map. First of all, of course, we have some extra items that teams want. We have already a healing beacon on each side, and now we're talking turrets again. But with the objective up, teams are going to try and use that to their advantage, take control of the checkpoint, and then win the game through a push towards the core. So this is the idea behind all of this right now. Caterpillar already up at the frontier. And Fuzz. Yeah, he's the one that's still... Oh, here comes Leo. Are they going to try with the Entomb? Already attempting to split here. And there's the ult from Malfurion. Illidan trying to jump in as well. This is, again, the fights that we're currently getting here are always a little bit on the awkward side, because they're trying to also get some of the abilities out early. For example, Malfurion, if he gets hit and doesn't get much Tranquility, is going to be in trouble. Talking about Leo dropping in a tumor here, of course. But right now, they went in really deep, real quickly, used a lot of their abilities and got very little out of it. Now with the second attempt, things are looking a little bit better, but also Gust to disengage. Fuzz is getting more stacks, same is true for Vala. So now 26 minutes in, we have 30 for Suljin. He gets the double swing for what it's worth. And Illidan is soon going to be back up and ready with his ult too. So they are all super cautious. Everybody just trying to bait out abilities, try and re-engage once that you are ready and set. Yeah, Suljin still has his own ult. Illidan, of course, driving the boss a bit on this. And Malfurion with his own as well for all that sustainability. They were trying to drive it into the opponent's team and couldn't quite make it happen. But Illidan is ready with his ult, so now he has the global here. They're getting the progress on the checkpoint, and this is honestly something that Team YEAAAAABOI will have to shut down. We are now 27 minutes in. As much fun as we can make about Protectors in the early game, how useless they are and that you don't need them. This late, you have to fight for it. This late, it's hurting, and it's hurting a lot. Alright, there's the Entomb. Buried Alive is in. Immediately the attacks from Suljin again, and a nice jet propulsion. Beautiful stun from Blaze. Here comes Illidan jumping into the back, immediately retreating upon seeing the wind tunnel, but they can re-engage. The distance to safety is pretty big, so now Illidan can start chasing here. And that's what we're seeing from him. The chase is on. Brightwing gets killed too, and there is no hiding from Illidan. You can try and kill him, and maybe you're going to make it happen, but you're definitely not going to hide from him. He's already working it down again. They get the kill against Garrosh, and this is the beginning of the end. Vala and Falstad are still alive. The two damage healers, they technically still have a chance here. But now that the kill comes in against the birdie, that's going to be the end of game number 3 and the series. Ult on Suljin can still be used, by the way, here. Careful with the fists. Not again, guys. But the shield is already gone, and this will be it. 100,000 damage for Suljin, 100,000 for Vala, and a 3-0 victory for Team Kure against Team YEAAAAABOI in the winner bracket semi-final of the Captain's Clash playoffs. Team Kure moves on to the winner bracket final. Job well done. 5-man team wipe as they seal the deal and take the map and the series with a 3-0. GG.
Thank you everybody for watching the video today. I hope that you enjoyed the show and the commentary. And keep in mind that the spoiler protection that is going to run for the rest of the video is made possible by all the support on patreon.com. So guys, if you want to support my work, if you want to help me start new projects and keep the spoiler protection in place, please consider heading over to patreon.com/Khaldor. There's also a link in the YouTube description and check that out. Thanks in advance and see you guys next time with more esports coverage here on Khaldor TV. Have a great day.